You recently joined a lot of other academics. You signed a letter demanding that elite institutions and universities stop accepting money from fossil fuel companies. Is that correct?
This is correct.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we have an explosive exchange between Senator John Kennedy and a Tulane professor that you need to see. It's all about climate hypocrisy, big money, and double standards. And trust me, it gets heated. Before we dive in, make sure to hit that button and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Alright, let's get into it. So, here's what went down. Senator John Kennedy sat down with a Tulane University professor who teaches climate studies. Seems straightforward, right? Well, not so fast. This professor is also a paid speaker, has an agent, and makes money from climate activism. Nothing wrong with that until you realize he recently signed a letter demanding universities refuse money from fossil fuel companies. But here's the twist. Tulane University has accepted from the Murphy family, a group connected to. So Kennedy had a simple question. And guess what? Things got awkward. Kennedy went straight for the facts. He pointed out that this professor is a globally recognized thought leader on climate change and gets paid for speeches. But when asked how much he charges, the professor suddenly...
The last paid speech you gave, how much did you receive?
I'm happy to follow up on it.
You don't remember?
I do not.
Do you give that money to Tulane?
I do not.
You keep it?
Yes, this is outside.
Convenient, right? Then Kennedy dropped the bombshell. The professor dodged. He said it wasn't his decision and that the money didn't go to his department. Kennedy's response? Classic. Boom.
The Murphy family of Murphy Oil and the Deming family of Murphy Oil have recently given Tulane $25 million. Have you called on Tulane to give that money back?
Well, it's not, they didn't give that money to my unit or the department or school that I work in.
Have you called on Tulane to give that money back, or you think that's okay for them to keep it?
It's their prerogative, not mine.
Okay. Yet you just signed a letter saying that all elite universities should refuse fossil fuel money. Did you put a footnote in there and say, except my own?
Well, what I'd like to say, Senator, is that I believe it raises a conflict of interest for those that research climate change that are supported by the fossil fuel industry.
Yeah, but then why don't you ask Tulane to give the $25 million back?
Well, I think in the context, if that money were to be used to support climate research, information, disinformation, or whatever it may be, then that may be an appropriate conflict of interest. But I think in the context of which
you don't see the hypocrisy here?
It is a hypocrisy in those that may read and interpret it as such.
Maybe it's like Washington. If there weren't double standards, there wouldn't be standards at all.
If you're enjoying this breakdown, make sure to so more people can see this video. It didn't stop there. This professor also criticized Houston for building large homes, calling them overconsumption and bad for the climate. His solution? People should live in smaller spaces. Kennedy had receipts. He listed buildings at Tulane, 77,000 square feet here, 92,000 square feet there, $35 million, $50 million. The list went on. And Kennedy asked the obvious question. The professor? Kennedy wasn't letting up. He asked,
Housing redevelopment phase 1, 230,000 square feet at Tulane. Have you called upon Tulane to stop these buildings?
Sir, the habitable space within those units are roughly the size of the conference room back there and are indeed quite small.
But they contribute to...
Everything that we do, sir.
Does the Commons contribute more to climate change than a McMansion in Houston? You were pretty quick to criticize the people of Houston for wanting to build, you thought, McMansions. But you don't criticize your own university?
and the professor? No accountability? No self-awareness? Nothing? It's moments like these that expose the real issue, not just climate change, but the people pushing the agenda while ignoring their own double standards.
I don't find that to be equivocal comparison between space meant for students who must reside at a university.
You don't see the hypocrisy in that?
It is your finding and interpretation, sir.
But you don't see the irony of the hypocrisy?
I'm going to go ahead and say no.
Okay. I kind of gathered that would be your answer.
Wow, what a wild exchange. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget, and turn on notifications for more hard-hitting content. See you in the next one.